This is my Ford 8N tractor, 1948. Really silly paint job. And we're going to do some episodes of how not to restore your Ford tractor. When I bought this, I got it from a friend who did a bunch of restoration work and charged me just about what he had in it. Although I think I paid about $100 more than he paid for the tires total. Really good deal, very good friend, kind of a bored retired old mechanic, and I appreciate getting the tractor. There are, however, some things that were not done right. Episode 2 is going to be about air cleaners. For this time, we're going to talk about the fuel system. This is your fuel sediment bowl. Piecing the threads up here goes into your tank. Like a motorcycle tank, you have a tall piece that gets the clean gas, and you have a reserve feed that gets your dirty gas. In there, there's supposed to be a filter screen, which there isn't, because this is an old tractor. I will have a new piece with a filter screen included very soon, so I can take this out apart and try to clean it, if it's worth cleaning. Under the bowl, between the bowl and the metal, there is a gasket. My previous owner had used an O-ring because he did not have a gasket. The problem with the O-ring is it's very thick and stiff and doesn't fit exactly right. So to get the leaks to stop, you have to tighten this a lot. So much that when you tighten it, you pinch this and this side. And that means the fuel does not flow. Or you may go for a couple of months and then realize that the fuel suddenly doesn't flow because something flexed. And now the fuel's not moving down your fuel line, which is our next topic. So I took a piece of cork, rubberized cork, from the auto parts store, 2-inch by 2-inch piece, and I cut a gasket. It's not that hard, works much better. This, of course, is my fuel line. My fuel line is made of rubber. Don't do that. This should not be here. This is a fitting. What you're supposed to have is a metal pipe going that way to the carburetor that uses a flare fitting that goes in here, not this tube and clamp system. And the reason is, as you will see on the other side, because it is very difficult to keep your rubber hose off of your exhaust manifold. And when you melt your rubber hose on your exhaust manifold, you get a fire. Big fire, no tractor. This is a similar piece here, which he did. There's supposed to be another filter screen in here. It's not there, and he did something to the flare fitting to give me a tube fitting there. There was also an inline filter in here, which I took out. And you don't want an inline filter in a gravity feed system because they usually restrict the flow too much to keep your carburetor adjusted. All of these parts are being replaced. I have the new entrance nuts already in. The fuel line, which goes like this, metal fuel line, goes over here, is in the mail. And so are the rest of the little fittings. I've got a new sediment bowl set up coming along with that so that I have all of my filter screens in place. And that's what you don't do to your tractor. Never, ever use a rubber hose. If you have a tractor with a rubber hose, that metal piece of 1/4-inch fuel line is going to cost you a grand total of $23. Or you can spend about $20 on a tubing bender at Harbor Freight and have the same thing made by yourself. The other small bit in terms of operation is right here. You have your valve. Open it 2 turns and only 2 turns to run your tractor. If you open it more, you start pulling from the reserve, which is the gunky bottom part of your tank. That's all.